example, 4, 5, 6 years of PhD, and it was tough, it was hard. But honestly, if I go back, yeah, I've done 6 year PhD, even though I had master. But if I go back, I still do the same. And the thing is that, and some people say, you know what, if you just spend these 6 years, let's say in industry, you earn more money, you can do better and all those things. But I tell you, it's worth it, and you should know that you earn more money than those people that just uh, didn't go through the master. If it's the economy, things that you are thinking about. Um, because if you do really great, you'll be different from others. Yeah, many people might do the same thing. They just go undergrad, they finish, they go to industry, but all of them they will be the same. If you do something different from others, then later on that will be really great for your career, and people appreciate that. So don't when you think that you want to do your PhD or your master, think about to do it different than others also. You don't want to do the same thing that everyone do, right? If you want to really be successful, and you should differentiate yourself from the crowd, I can say. And yeah, it's tough, but uh, that's the thing that you're actually building for yourself and your personality and everything. So that's an amazing experience. I can tell you, it's long, but you'll enjoy it. And then today that I was coming back to UTA, I was saying, oh my God, this place, that place, it was all amazing to, memorize all it, having all these memories from UTA and getting back here among you. So just do it.
And as Cesar said, it's a journey. I can remember sitting in the lab, and we were waiting for a long time ago. Things took a while to compute. And so we decided we wanted to see if we could make 1 + 1 = 3. So we just made a bad assumption, and we were able to, on the board, draw out 1 + 1 = 3. So it is a journey. It's a lot of fun. There are high points, there are low points. I can remember the first time I turned my thesis into my major professor, it came back with more red than black. And that was one of my low points. I thought, why am I doing this? But with encouragement from him and my family and my friends, it was like, I'm going to finish this all out.
Now I want to go back a little bit. I think many of our students here have a lot of interest in different topics, and they don't know what topic to choose and which advisor to choose, which road is better for them. How did you choose your PhD advisor or your topics?
I didn't choose mine, he chose me. I was a student in his class, and he wanted me to come do research for him. And so that's how I chose. But you're right, it's you have to think about what you want, where you're looking for, how you want to get there, and the path starts to illuminate as you start thinking through that.
So for me, actually, since I came from Iran to here, we didn't have an option to go and talk with people, the professor, to know what exactly who wants to be our advisor and all those things. So, but you should think of like this, that if you go for a direct PhD, then you need to explore a little bit. So all those courses that you take at first definitely would help you to see what you like and what you don't like. And you need to know that it will oscillate. It's not like that you say, oh, now I like this one, I go for this. It's not like this. Because as you get more mature, then you exactly know what you want, right? So it's like that when you get your first course and say, oh, I really like this, I want to go with that. And then you get your next course, oh, I really, because it's the first stages, you get excited about everything. So make a decision is really hard. So for you that you're here, you have this, I think, great option of exploring, talking with professors, going to their lab, talking with their PhD students, see what you really like. And hopefully you have, I think, 1.5 years to completely decide what you want to do. First 1.5 years is all courses for computer science, and then later you will decide what you want to do. So have this expectation that it may change a lot, and you need to take risk, but you need to be careful not to fail a lot, and definitely help other people, talk with different professors and all those PhD students to get their advice.
So I'd like to share my story. So I did my bachelor's in computer engineering, came here for my master's in computer science. Life was set, I was going ahead to become a software engineer, so I was on that path. I had no idea that I'll get into research or PhD or anything. But after coming here, when I started doing the courses, you get this realization that I don't think I'm made for a full-time coding job. Like, that wasn't me. I'm a very, very creative person. I need to be on the front end side of the, there's the spectrum in computer science, front end to back end. So I just felt I'm more good front end, I'm more creative, I want to see what I create. So it was around second semester in my in my master's that I thought that this is the time where I need to take a stand. I need to find that subject that I'm really, really passionate about. And I thought game development is somewhere near in the computer science arena that gives me that happiness that I'm looking for. So when you are in search of something, you need to be very, very proactive. So I went to the faculty page, made a list of all the professors and their office hours, and started meeting with each one of them, just asking them about which projects do they have, what are they working on. And through that, I met my professor, Dr. Filia Macedon, under whom I'm doing my PhD right now. And I went to her lab and I just said that I'm very much interested in game development. Is there any project that I can just start working on, or volunteering or shadowing or anything? I just want to explore this area. She said, right now I'm very busy, I cannot talk. Okay, I stood outside her lab for some time. And then after half an hour, I just peeped inside her. Is she free now? We're like, okay, let's talk for 5 minutes. And then she's like, okay, she has a lot of PhD students, so she said, I'm not eager to have another student, but I can give you 1 or 2 projects to see if you like anything. And that was the start. It's you face rejection, but you need to go ahead with all your, the inner power that you have, that I want to find what I want to find. So I started going to her lab meetings, picked up some projects, and that's how I came to, so her lab had bought that virtual reality DK2. And I was like, okay, this is a cool tool. Let's use it for one of the projects. And that's how I did a project, and I then figured out that this is an area that I'm very much interested in. So that's how I got my PhD topic. So it's a journey, as you said. You keep on exploring things, but you yourself have to be very, very proactive if you want to get whatever you want.
I can't echo that point enough. You have to be proactive. I myself was never at that stage where I could go to professors' office hours. And so I went through the route of like a formal undergraduate program that would match me with grad students, because I was shy. I couldn't bring myself to actually talk with professors. And that's how I actually ended up doing research with a PhD student. And here's the other thing. There's so much focus on the PI, the principal investigator, the professor, but it's actually the PhD students that are doing the research. So the PhD students are another resource for you to reach out to. It's not just, can I help the professor, can I help the PhD student in navigating some things? And in that way, they have a little bit more time, but there's also this question, how can I be useful, right? A lot of us, I felt, I don't have enough of a skill set to actually do the fancy machine learning, for example. But what is always useful is to be an assistant around literature reviews. So that's one way where you can say, can I get some papers that you are looking at in the field and read them and help you do a literature search? That is a huge help to PhD students, and you increase your value to that lab tremendously. You also start to understand a little bit more about the research area. So it's just a little first stepping stone to understand what the research lab does and to get a better idea of how you can develop your own skill set to help with a specific project. And I'll just do one slight announcement. I do my own undergraduate research group within my lab. Every semester I look for 10 students who are interested in digital fabrication. I'm not looking for skills or experience. And what we do is weekly research presentations that slowly transition into an actual research project.
Yeah, I'd like to add very quickly. I try to answer the question from a different angle. So I serve and also Cesar also serve on the PhD admission committee. So every year we would go over like more than 100 PhD applications. And so in the recent couple of years, we see a surge in some specific topic or area. Okay, everybody knows what that topic is, right? So like 80% of applicants, okay, go to that area, go to that specific area, or professors, right? So every department, like we probably will only have 2 or 3 faculty members in that particular area, and this is also the same case for many other universities, right? So if 80% of the students apply for that particular direction, apply for that particular area, so some talented or like highly has good record students may be turned down, unfortunately, because the competition is really fierce in those areas, right? And another thing I would like to add is that when you understand some certain topics, right, you probably feel that okay, it is something that you in your mind, but when you spend 1 year or 2 years on that area, on that topic, probably it turns out to be something different from very beginning that you thought that it should be, right? And so again, like what they just suggested, wisely use your summer, your winter, and probably spend 1 month or 2 months to work on some small projects, right? With like either RU project or even like semester project with the research topic that you are interested in, and to find out if that is really something that you thought it is, right? And yeah, so that's what I would like to add.
Great. Any questions at this point? No? Okay. So there is this perception about PhD that for 5-6 years you don't have a normal life, right? You can't have a family, you can't go party, and you need to stay in the lab all the time. So is this true?
Your life's not normal. That part is true. But I had my daughter when I was a graduate student, so yes, you can have a life and you can do a lot of things outside the lab. You just have to learn how to prioritize and just move like you do as an undergraduate. You guys study, you go to class, some of you work, so it's just a matter of prioritizing and moving around things.
So, no, actually, this is good. So, I want to tell you this. Again, in undergrad, you have these courses, you know what to do. It's very straightforward, and you just follow the rules, and you're done, right? In PhD and master, if you want, in your master, you want to do, let's say, the research, then that straight line is not there, right? I think that's why people complain that it is not kind of, we have hard time, because there's some period of time that you're really, really busy. But honestly, there are some period of time that you don't have nothing to do, and your time is for yourself to do research, right? Near the deadline, you have all this hectic time that, yeah, I need to do all those experiments, I need to write a paper and all those things. But most amount of time, it's all on your own to think, to do the research, right? And the hard part is to have this separate line from your life and their research, because even when you're at home and you're eating your dinner, your lunch, you're still thinking about that, right? About the problem that you're working on. So I don't say actually it's bad. Sometimes it's fun. You need to learn how to have party, have fun and all those things, and do research. And as you go, you learn that. I like that style of life. That's why even now I chose even in the industry, the research lab that I am, I'm still like a grad student that do research and it's still the same lifestyle. Now I know how exactly differentiate things. So it's long, it's hard to get to that point, but I think you'll get it and you'll really enjoy that. And honestly, the amount of party that we had during our PhD was more than.
All the secrets.
But it is fun, and as long as you have an advisor that understands you and you kind of communicate with your advisor, then you're on the same page that you're doing your research and still you have fun. It's perfect.
So this question I can answer for at least 1 hour, and I will have another session because currently I am in that phase right now, living my PhD life. So what I can say from my experience is that bachelor's and master's, everything was very scheduled. You had a timeline, the semester was there were deadlines, there were prelims, different tests, and everything was planned. But as soon as you enter the world of PhD and after all your courses are done, you have milestones, but you're a free bird. You have to go and explore the world of research. But that's the most difficult part of the graduate school, how to create your own timetable, how to become disciplined. And that takes not a lot, but it takes proactiveness. You need to train yourself, your muscle, your brain to be in the habit of okay, this is the time where I will have to study, this is the time where I'll do research, and this is the time when I'll enjoy. So getting into that habit or training your brain to get into the mode of that disciplineness is the key to enjoy your PhD. Once you get that, I think everything will be good.
So my one note that I want to add is I want to talk a little bit about imposter syndrome. It's really much more pronounced when you start your PhD. There's this question, was it a fluke? Did I really get into this PhD program? Am I cut out to do this research? For me, the way that this translated into my research life was I would pull 12-hour days working on this paper that took me 2 years to publish, working into the night, and it also comes from the fact that I'm coming from an immigrant background. A hard work ethic was a way to show or to kind of offset the fact that maybe I'm not as smart as my peers in being able to do this research. And for minorities in computer science, this also translates into other things. For instance, we all have different service capabilities. So I know that one of these is doing these panels, and I love doing these panels during grad school. But then there's others such as ordering food for lab meetings, right? And so it's very common for us to put our lack of confidence into those roles, to say, oh, I do have a role in this lab because I take on these service responsibilities. And I think that it's important to, if you do your PhD, to make sure that you are not given those roles and to say no to those roles, because those actually take away time from your ability to do research. So it's almost too often that it gets put on minorities to do those jobs because of this feeling of ineptitude within our own labs. So I just kind of want to echo that. And also to say that the PhD is not a solitary experience. The folks that have had a really bad time with the PhD are mostly doing it on their own. So it's really important to reach out to your family and your partners as support structures throughout the PhD. I'm sure the panel can concur that their family and their friends were extremely important for being able to last those 6 years. And I can't commend my lab more than anything. Yes, I had a great advisor, but during the last part, I hardly ever saw him, right? It was instead the community that I had formed with my lab that really helped me go through and become successful in PhD.
My comments is very short. Normal people do normal stuff. Since I believe everyone in this room feel that we are something special and we would like to achieve something different, right? Then, and another sentence is no pain, no gain.
Okay. I think we have only 10 minutes or less. So I want to know if you have any questions.
Could I ask one question?
Sure.
I would, I speak now. I would just really like to know from the panel, what was the single most significant barrier that you had to overcome in order to actually convince yourself you could do this?
I think the most significant barrier, or the point where I was at the lowest, was when I got back more red than black. I think that was the point where, I mean, and it's still in my mind. And if it hadn't been for talking with my major professor, my husband, my family, all encouraging me to tell me, you can do this, you can make this through. I mean, that, I was this close to saying, forget it, I'm done.
For me, I think the first couple of years that I had in my PhD, and I kind of decided to change the field. That was really tough. I could have graduated after 3 years even. So my advisor even agreed that I graduate in my 3rd year, and because he was actually going to another university. But I decided actually to completely switch my field and start a new PhD kind of from scratch. That was really tough. I can say at that time, I was really frustrated. I didn't know even I'm doing I'm making, is it a good decision or not? But definitely, as I said, having support, that definitely helped. And it was really,